Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah!
Yes?
Yeah!
Looking back on my academic history, I should conclude that I really don't deserve this distinguished tribute. But then again, I have high blood pressure, cellulite, and now a broken foot, and I don't deserve those either.
Me neither.
So I joyfully and humbly accept this lovely honor. Before I begin with these prepared remarks, as I was walking and hobbling out here today, my publicist, Gary Rosen, who was with me at all times, said to me, "You're going to have a good story about that leg." I said, "Actually, it's a very boring story." And Gary's always looking to get just the right soundbite. He said, "Well, why don't you tell the graduates that you broke your foot during a period of rough sex?"
That's gross.
Was standing close to me to the right, and he said, "Nobody would ever believe that."
We believe you!
So actually, it was one of those platform shoes that just gave way. Anyway, I was an unremarkable high school student. I was an unremarkable college student. And with the exception of one stellar year, an unremarkable law student. SATs, LSATs, and all other standardized examinations that were designed to test my cerebral mettle eluded me. For the life of me, I never understood the importance of knowing how long it would take a burro to get from Mexico City to New York if it made 6 stops, had 2 loads of grain, and a tailwind. But I had tenacity. I had more guts than brains. I had street smarts that comes from growing up in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn!
And I had a father who thought that I was the greatest thing since sliced bread. I have a love for the essence of the law. In a civilized society, there are rules and responsibilities that we impose on ourselves and on each other. These rules or laws help us negotiate life, just as a traffic light helps us get from point A to point B without an accident. Only when someone doesn't follow the rules, doesn't mind the lights, is there a mishap. I have spent the better part of my 40-plus year career on the case of those people who break the rules and in the process hurt the innocent. Let's take reckless driving. You drink, you drive, you speed, and cause a horrific accident. If you, as the driver, only maim yourself, well, that's bad enough. Sadly, however, that's not usually the case, and many innocents are taken down by irresponsible actions. Well, folks, there are those respected members of the legal community who would shift the responsibility for actions to lack of family, poor social skills, lousy schools, and often some undefinable psychological malady as the cause of your driving recklessness. Not this girl, not any time, not any way. If you choose to drive recklessly, it's your fault, period. So when I started judging business in family court, this philosophy of the law, take responsibility, was about as popular as a skunk in a lawn party. Nothing was nobody's fault, no way, no time. I recall a young lawyer arguing that his client was selling heroin because he was grieving over the death of his grandmother. Now, I tried to explain to both this miscreant and his lawyer that I had lost all 4 of my beloved grandparents. I cried, I lost my appetite, and I had some sleepless nights. But never once in my bereavement did I contemplate selling cocaine or heroin to ease the loss. Shifting the burden of responsibility was not going to work in my courtroom. Today, as I celebrate 30 years as a judge in one venue or another, Some people still think that the rules don't apply to them, and I'm still here to tell them that they're wrong. The lesson I hope you take away from this is that trying to twist your beliefs into someone else's philosophy because it's expedient or popular at the moment is usually unsatisfying and unrewarding. Listen to many people, but ultimately follow your instincts as to what's right. Most people hardly remember who their commencement speaker was, much less what they said. In the hopes that you will remember at least something of today's talk, I will tell you only 2 more short stories and then gracefully sit down.
No.
In 1979, I was the attorney in charge of an office at the Manhattan Family Court. Each September, a new crop of young lawyers began their professional careers. They had been hired by the city. I took what I got. Among the group that year was a very good-looking gal who came to work on her first day dressed to kill. She wore 4-inch heels and a tailor-fitted suit. She sported a fresh manicure with little stars at the end and hair that was fabulously coiffed, her makeup perfectly applied. She looked as if she was ready for clubbing, not lawyering, in the down and grimy family court of the 70s. This couldn't be a lawyer, I thought. She probably had a connection to get the job. Couldn't have passed the bar. And I couldn't have been more wrong. She turned out to be a great lawyer. Organized, logical, dependable, and in every way a professional. However, she had to work extra hard to get over that initial first impression. Hence, the lessons. For me, it was not to be too quick to judge. I'm still working on that. For her, it was, you only have one chance to make a first impression. Years later, after a thoroughly satisfying career as a judge, I went to California to meet with several television executives about the possibility of a Judge Judy. I had no agent, no manager, no connections, and no talent that I knew of. No public recognition, and yet there I was, ready to pitch people and ask them to spend millions to launch a program with a totally unproven, and unknown talent. That's where the more guts than brains comes in. You took a 10-minute meeting, and the first impression was all you got. One guy got it, and the rest is my TV history. I dare say that many of you who are graduating here today have in your young lives blown more than one chance to make that valuable first impression. Whether it be putting a stupid posting on the internet, a picture that you wouldn't want to see a first employer have in his hand, to dressing inappropriately for an interview or a social occasion. Now the stakes are higher. Nobody's going to excuse you because you're a kid. That first impression can alter the course of your life. Don't blow it. It's a thrill for me to be here today with my sons, who are sitting over there, who graduated from Albany. All 3 of them. All are successful men and productive citizens. That despite the fact that they attended their graduation in a confused state of thinking and dressed as if they were going to the beach. They learned the first impression lesson a little late, but they all mastered it. And if you're smart, you will too. Academic excellence is nice, but it doesn't always define you. What defines you is a passion for what you do and a steady moral compass. Life can be a wonderful journey, and you can be its hero. It all starts with first impression. I wish you all hearty congratulations and lives abundant with great first impressions. Thank you.